Hi there, and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Gary Neville says 24-year-old Arsenal player just hasn't been good enough this season. While Neville was impressed with Havertz's work off the ball yesterday, he feels the former Chelsea man needs to improve his work in the final third. Speaking on the Gary Neville podcast after the Newcastle game, the Manchester United legend claimed he'd love to see Havertz provide more of an aerial threat inside the box for Arsenal. He said, "It's interesting when you talk about Havertz. There was a graphic that came up that said he had the most pressures in the game, 23 pressures. When he is out of possession and even the challenge on burn he makes down here, he runs with real force and purpose. I wish he ran with the same force and purpose into the box when Arsenal were in wide positions with Martinelli and Saka. I wish there was the real aggression and force in his runs to get into the box to be a goal scorer. There is a big expectation on him. He's been brought for a big amount of money. The Arsenal fans are questioning why they have spent that money on him. Why haven't they got somebody else? And I can see why. That pressure is not going to go away from him. He does need to do better. Let's be clear. He definitely needs to do better. But for me, he didn't play badly. I thought he would be taken off for the fact that he was treading a fine line with his yellow card, but actually, Mikel Arteta left him on, so for me that was a good thing, but I think Arteta left him on thinking, go and do it for me, I'm giving you a chance here, but he doesn't really either know how to get that goal when you need it, or the runs to make. I think he needs coaching on the runs to make across the near post or into the back post and off that striker. He should be the second striker really of Eddie Nketiah. He doesn't really play like that. He never runs past the center forward, never dribbles past the center forward. He always plays the other side. I feel like can do a lot more and he needs to do a lot more for Arsenal. Jamie Carragher left unimpressed with £30 million Arsenal player yesterday. Jamie Carragher has criticized Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya for his role in Newcastle United's goal yesterday. Carragher was speaking on Sky Sports after Arsenal suffered a 1-0 defeat at James Park after a controversial goal. Anthony Gordon handed Newcastle all 3 points with his second half effort, and it's fair to say that Mikel Arteta was unhappy with the decision to allow the goal to stand. Arsenal's players had appealed for a throw-in after Jacob Murphy's initial effort, but Joey Willock rescued the ball before it went out. His cross into the box then looped over David Raya, and after a tussle between Gabriel Magalhaes and Joe Wellington, Gordon smashed the ball home. And while there has been controversy over the goal, Carragher wasn't impressed with Raya's positioning. Speaking on Sky Sports after last night's game, Carragher claimed that Arteta has a huge problem when it comes to Raya's positioning. He said, "Let's not get lost in all the VAR stuff about the Arsenal goalkeeper again, making another mistake, and this is a massive problem for Mikel Arteta. This is a huge problem. Again, he's made the same mistake in a huge game like he made a couple of weeks ago at Chelsea, and he got away with it. He hasn't got away with it here." The pundit then pointed out that Raya was in front of his near post when the cross came in and claimed this was a regular occurrence for the goalkeeper. Raya was caught off his line in the 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge last month and hasn't exactly exuded confidence since taking Aaron Ramsdale's place in the side. The £30 million man has looked shaky with the ball at his feet at times, and yesterday's error will only strengthen calls for Ramsdale to get another opportunity. Yet, it's evident the Spaniard is Arteta's preferred choice at this stage, and it would be a surprise to see him lose his place in the side anytime soon. Gary Neville tears into appalling £27 million Arsenal player versus Newcastle. Gary Neville has hammered Arsenal forward Leandro Trossard after the Gunners were beaten by Newcastle United. The Gunners couldn't find a way past a resolute home side, and a goal from Gordon settled matters in the favour of Eddie Howe's man. For Arsenal, it was yet another frustrating day, as some of their squad defences were once again on display, especially in the final third. The decision not to sign a striker is now looking worse than ever, and Arsenal ended the game with Leandro Trossard playing as a forward. However, Trossard offered little, and when he failed to beat the first man on a third corner in a row for Arsenal, Gary Neville was simply not having him. Speaking on Sky commentary, Neville was furious with what he was seeing from Trossard. The former Brighton man could not get the ball past the first man on his corners, and Neville was not impressed, he said. So bad from Trossard, appalling not to get it over the first man, that is three times. £27 million signing Trossard has previously won plenty of praise for his impact at Arsenal, but yesterday was not his day. The Belgian will be hoping to do far better in future weeks, both in terms of his set pieces and overall performance, with Manchester City winning 6-1. This feels like a big backwards step for Arsenal, and it's something Mikel Arteta will need to be addressing. Newcastle are, of course, a good team and played well for their win in the end, but Arsenal need to do better, and the Gunners need more from their subs. A striker in January then seems a must right now. Fabrizio Romano hails £39 million forward linked with Arsenal. Arsenal are currently being linked with Benjamin Sesko ahead of the January transfer window. Calciomercato recently reported that Mikel Arteta's Gunners are one of the clubs eyeing the RB Leipzig striker. Meanwhile, 90 Minutes have claimed that intermediaries have now spoken to Arsenal about a potential move for Sesko. Fabrizio Romano, writing on Count Offside, has now shared what he knows amid the speculation linking the Gunners with the 20-year-old. The transfer insider admitted that he is not aware of Arsenal looking at Sesko as a potential alternative to Ivan Toney. However, Romano acknowledged that many clubs are currently engaging in normal scouting activity. The Italian also said Sesko would be an excellent choice for any of Europe's big clubs. He said, "Some Arsenal fans are asking me about reports linking them with an interest in Benjamin Sesko, but I'm not currently aware of anything concrete happening there. He's being linked with many clubs, but as far as I understand, it's nothing advanced at the moment, just normal scouting activity. I really like Sesko. He'd be excellent choice for every club around Europe. Still, it's important to respect RB Leipzig as well, because at the moment they don't want to sell, they don't want to lose any of their top players in January. As I recently reported, this is more likely to be one for summer 2024 or even 2025. In terms of strikers for Arsenal, I have already spoken about the interest in Ivan Toney, but it's not an easy deal, and Chelsea are also informed on his situation, so that remains an open race, but I am not aware of the Gunners pursuing Sesko as an alternative for now. Sesko would be an outstanding acquisition for Arsenal. He is incredibly talented and at just 20 years of age can get a whole lot better still. The Bundesliga website has compared the £39 million player to Erling Haaland. Indeed, Sesko has welcomed those comparisons, Sesko said. Such comparisons motivate me and give me energy. They do not represent pressure. I will listen and learn so I can be even better than he is. My teammates at the club tell me that Haaland and I are very similar, especially in terms of speed. Most of them even tell me that I am better than him. Admittedly, Romano's update on Arsenal and Sesko isn't quite as exciting, but let's see whether anything develops as we get closer to the January transfer window. Arsenal eyeing January move for a 20-year-old attacking prodigy. Arsenal are eyeing up a move for Marcos Leonardo. According to a report by Vigaches, Mikel Arteta wants to reinforce his team in the short term to ensure they have enough firepower to challenge for major titles. The Spanish manager seems to be keen on adding a new forward to his ranks at Arsenal. The Gunners have their eyes on a 20-year-old Brazilian sensation, Marcos Leonardo. The Santos striker has made quite a name for himself of late, and he is on the radar of some of the biggest clubs in Europe. Leonardo has been doing wonders for both the Brazilian youth team and as well as his club, and his performances haven't gone unnoticed. In the 2023 season, he featured in 24 league matches and found the back of the net on 13 occasions. While his contract runs until the end of 2026, there is a possibility of him parting ways with the Brazilian club in the winter transfer window. Manchester United and Roma are two clubs who have been monitoring him of late, but it seems Arsenal are the ones leading the race for his signatures. The Gunners are keen on bolstering their attack, and they do not want to miss out on Leonardo's signatures. As a result, the North London club have already submitted a €20 million plus bonuses offer for the services of the Santos striker. Mikel Arteta wants to add a new striker to the mix, someone who has a different profile than the ones he already has at his disposal. The Gunners have positioned themselves ahead of others in the race to sign him with this offer, and it will be interesting to see if they can land him at the club in the winter. Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea handed boost in a 23-year-old's defender pursuit. Manchester United have been linked to the move for the French defender Jean-Claire Todibo. The 23-year-old has been a key player for Nice, and his performance have attracted the attention of a number of clubs. A report from 90 Minute claims that Arsenal, Chelsea, and Manchester United have now been informed that the defender will be sold at the end of the season. The development will certainly come as a boost for his suitors, and it remains to be seen whether Manchester United manage to secure his signature in the coming months. The Red Devils will have to find a quality replacement for Maguire if he moves on in the coming months, and Todibo would be a superb acquisition. He has already proven himself in French football, and he will be determined to showcase his qualities in England now. Similarly, Arsenal will need to add more depth to their central defense as well. They will want to compete for major trophies every year, and Mikel Arteta needs more options at his disposal. Chelsea will have to find a quality long-term replacement for Thiago Silva, and the 23-year-old Frenchman certainly fit the profile. The opportunity to join the Premier League could be an exciting one for the 23-year-old defender, and he will look to take the next step in his career. All three English clubs have the financial means to get the deal done, and it will be interesting to see where the 23-year-old ends up eventually. Jamie Carragher insists Arsenal can't win the league unless they make one key signing. Jamie Carragher has now been insisting that Mikel Arteta's Arsenal side are short of quality to win the league after defeat to Newcastle United. Carragher was speaking on Sky Sport post-match coverage and asked questions over the striker and goalkeeper spots at Arsenal. The pundit thought that whilst Arsenal looked improved as a defensive unit this season, they were now being undone by these two glaring weaknesses. Initially, during the live coverage, Carragher said, "Have Arsenal got a centre forward and a goalkeeper who can win you the league? I am not sure they have." To which he then confirmed his feelings on X afterwards, saying, "I am sure they haven't." It was another difficult night for Nketiah, who failed to improve on his West Ham United performance, and whilst it's harsh to single him out, Arsenal struggled creatively as a whole. It's become hard not to imagine a player like Ivan Toney in the role every time Arsenal struggle. The striker has been heavily linked with a January move to Arsenal, and Carragher may think that's just the player Arteta needs. Ian Wright has previously suggested that Nketiah does struggle as a focal point for the side, and that was evident yesterday. Gabriel Jesus may have fared no better given the tough task against his Newcastle defense, but there clearly is a slight issue. Neither striker is proving to be a consistent goal scorer for Arteta and Arsenal, but as mentioned, it wasn't just Nketiah who suffered a tough evening. Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli have both been criticized for their difficult displays as well, and although Mikel Arteta was fuming at the officials during and after the game, he may admit that his side needed to improve their own performance. Alan Shearer didn't think that there was anything wrong with Newcastle's goal and did question Arteta after the game. Nonetheless, Arsenal now need to pick up their form and performances when Sevilla arrive at the Emirates on Wednesday, and although Carragher thinks Arteta needs a new striker at Arsenal, the manager will simply have to get the most out of his options right now. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.